Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am super excited to be giving you my book review of The Source of Storms by Angelina Kelly this week. This is an exciting book because this is the author's debut novel and it is book one of the Stormbound series. There are no spoilers in this review, and I will be rating in my three different categories: readability, predictability, and accessibility. The Source of Storms is a new fantasy novel and was published recently in February of 2025. This book is 370 pages long and has a 4.28 out of 5-star rating on Goodreads with 98 ratings and 59 reviews. I'm simply going to read the synopsis of this book online, just since I'm sure many of you have not heard of this author yet. So, The Source of Storms. Born the daughter of a Selkie, Halya is condemned by the folklore of Elvic. Fey-touched, marked by ancient Fey influence, she is an outsider and one destined to be hunted. But when she meets Bergir, a mysterious stranger who sees past her Fey-touched appearance, and Eliath, a wise sorcerer who takes her under her wing, Halja's world shifts. Yet, danger is never far. A fanatical high priestess has set her sights on the Fey-touched, blaming them for the monsters that plague the realm. With the king's ear and the power of an ancient god at her back, she will stop at nothing to destroy anyone who stands in her way, including Eliath. Caught in the crossfire, Halya must unlock the full potential of her shape-shifting power, fighting not only to save those she loves, but also to protect the fragile future she's begun to imagine with Bergir. When myths come alive and ancient conflicts threaten everything, will she choose survival or the power to change the world? This book is your classic fantasy adventure novel. Kelly did a great job of character development throughout this book and their relationships with each other. The book also pulls themes of respect for nature, elemental magic, friendship, and Norse mythology. In terms of readability, I would rate this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Kelly's writing style is easy to read and very descriptive. You can really get into Halja's mindset and her emotions as you read through the book. The storyline itself captivated my interest, and I don't know about you, but when I'm reading a book and I can picture the characters as people and imagine their voices, then that's a sign that the author has done a really good job with their writing. I also rate this book as high as I do because a lot of your fantasy novels are those too good to be true moments, and I feel like this book did a good job of capturing the failures and the downsides and the sadness that's involved in any sort of quest. There was violence and pain, and there was also some scenes where I was hoping something would happen in a good way, but something bad did instead. For predictability, I would rate this book, again, a 4 out of 5 stars. I really didn't know what to expect as this book went along, and it was evident that all of the events led up to a pivotal moment, which happened later in the book. However, there was a lot of twists and turns along the way that I wasn't expecting to have happened. We're talking about accessibility. I have to rate this a 2 out of 5 stars, but I feel like I need to justify the reason why I'm rating it as low as I did. Now, keep in mind, this is a very new book for Kelly, and it is her very first novel, so the publicity isn't quite out there, and the availability in the library is essentially non-existent. At both of my libraries, there were no audiobooks, no ebooks, or any hard copies at all. If we are looking at some of our used book sites, Pango Books only had a couple of copies available, and they were going for around $12. A Books did have some copies as well, and they range from $11 to $30. And then on Amazon, the only ones you could buy were Kindle version or the paperback copy, and that ranged anywhere from $5 up to $15.99. Overall, I give The Source of Storms a 3.33 out of 5 stars, and it would have been much higher if it weren't for the accessibility score. Please don't let my rating of this book stop you. If it weren't for the accessibility, I would really be giving this a 4.5 or a 5 out of 5 stars. All right, everyone, that wraps up this week's book review of The Source of Storms by Angelina Kelly. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.